Hi guys, TrisTV here. Welcome to another one of the tier list videos. Today I'm going to be ranking the top 50 most expensive football players of all time. Thank you for your support on the last video. I hope you enjoyed it. Sorry about the audio issues. I am fixing my microphone, but sorry about the weird noises. Hope you enjoy the video, and let's start with Matthias de Ligt. I'm going to put him in the great signing. I haven't watched much of the Serie A with Juventus, but I'd say he's a very good young defender that can only get better over time, so I think Juventus have made a great signing. Luis Figo, obviously one of the greatest people to grace the earth with his skills, run that midfield park so I think Real Madrid made a good investment, but they did call him a traitor because he moved from Barca to Real Madrid, and Barca and Real Madrid do not like each other, so he did get a bit of stick, but I think he handled that stick really well. Falcao to Monaco, definitely a great signing. He did have some rough loan spells at Man United and Chelsea, but when he was in the AS Monaco shirt, he was definitely banging in the goals, and the fans really loved what he did. Kaká, I'd put him in the great signing. Best Brazilian, one of the best Brazilian midfielders of all time to grace the earth with Luis Figo, and definitely when he was in that Real Madrid midfield, he was definitely dominating that midfield, and it was a good job that he didn't move to Manchester City when they were being taken over by the Arab owners. Aymeric Laporte, definitely a great signing Pep Guardiola's made. It's unfortunate he's been hit by injuries, but definitely if he gets more game time past Nicolas Otamendi or John Stones, he's definitely going to get better over time. Fred, shown good glimpses, but definitely it was quite a disappointing signing from Jose Mourinho. The £50 million fee that they paid for him, a lot was expected for him. Even Man United fans think that he was a bit overpriced when Jose Mourinho bought him from Shakhtar Donetsk, but it's a shame he hasn't been able to hit the ground running, so Fred's going to go in disappointing. Alvaro Morata, bad investment. Ever since he joined Chelsea, a lot was expected of this kid, but it just didn't happen to him, and he had that Chelsea number 9 curse where a lot of Chelsea number 9s are expected to hit the big heights but don't seem to hit the big heights, so go down. Angel Di Maria to Manchester United, say quite a disappointing sign. He did show glimpses of what he could do, but it just Louis van Gaal's tactics just didn't really work for the player, and it showed with his lack of desire and lack of commitment to play on the pitch, so I'd put Angel Di Maria in the disappointing category. Zinedine Zidane, obviously one of the greatest players of all time to grace this earth. He was famous for that headbutt in the Italy World Cup, but my gosh, he was a great midfielder for Real Madrid with all the other players he was surrounded by, such as David Beckham, Kaká. Best midfielder, now moving on to Philippe Coutinho. I'd say it was quite disappointing signing for Barcelona, because in a Liverpool shirt, my gosh, he was one of the, if not one of the best wingers in that Liverpool shirt ever, and Jurgen Klopp definitely did his best to keep him, but he just wasn't happy at the club over time, so decided to leave. Now when he got his £100 million move to Barcelona, he just hasn't hit the ground running, so fortunately he's going into there. Pulisic, we've seen some glimpses of him this season, but injuries have just hampered him, and with Willian's great performances, it's just Pulisic hasn't seemed to get a great run in the team, and when he's played he's not looked like how he did when he was at Dortmund. I hope Chelsea fans agree as well. He just gets injured too much, and whenever he does play he just looks quite sloppy on the ball, so Pulisic is definitely going to go in the disappointing category. Cristiano Ronaldo, obviously worth every penny for that signing. The man's 35 and still bagging double figures for Juventus, and he's got to go down as one of the greatest ever players to grace this earth and put on that Juventus shirt, so he's definitely worth every penny. Ousmane Dembele, just say it's bad investment by Barcelona. Like, he was a really hyped up wonder kid, destined for great things, but injuries have just hampered his time at Barcelona, and with his injuries and him not playing as much, it's just really hampering his career. So I'd say Barcelona should have looked for someone else who would be able to retain that spot. Fernando Torres, what can I say? At Liverpool, he was at the peak of his powers, like one of Liverpool's best, if not one of the best strikers that they had in their team. But when he moved to Chelsea, in 110 games he scored 20 goals, which isn't great for a striker of his quality and the numbers he was hitting at Liverpool. So with Fernando Torres, definitely put him in the bad investment category. Moving on, João Felix, pretty much bad investment as well. Most expensive teenager, but just hasn't worked out for him ever since he's been in that Atletico Madrid shirt, and Atletico Madrid fans will be really frustrated because lots and lots was expected of this wonder kid, but it just hasn't happened, and very, very bad investment by the Atletico Madrid board. Gareth Bale, great signing for Real Madrid, worth 80 million and won the Champions League in his first year when he joined the club. The guy's just an amazing right winger. He can do anything, any skills. Like, he used to be a right back, but ever since he's been converted to a right wing, he's been one of the best players ever. So Gareth Bale, definitely a great signing for Real Madrid. It's just, I wouldn't put him in worth every penny category because injuries have hampered him a bit, and he is looking a bit out of favour with Zinedine Zidane. So I hope clubs will be sniffing around for his services. Alisson, no doubt worth every penny. Came into Liverpool, didn't win the Champions League won the Champions League in his first year of joining. A rock solid goalkeeper that Liverpool had been dying for ever since the Pepe Reina days. So I think this was an amazing investment by Jurgen Klopp. Even though it looked really expensive, my gosh, has it been a really good investment for Liverpool. So Alisson, definitely worth every penny. Edinson Cavani, great signing. Been at PSG for nearly 7 years now, and hit over 100 goals in, I think, 183 games, if not more. What a clinical striker he is in front of goal. Whenever he's just on that team sheet, you just know that goals are definitely happening in the games. So he definitely deserves to be in that great signing category. Tanguy and Ndombele could be better. The start of the season he's had glimmers of hope, but ever since the season's gone on, he's just lost it. He's become, Tottenham fans think he's become lazy in the midfield, so he could be better. If he could be a better signing. Same goes for Antoine Griezmann. Hit 9 goals this season, but just hasn't been the season that he's expected. It's expected for him, so not much to say for Griezmann, but I hope things do get better for him. Angel Di Maria, great signing. At Man United, did not work. It did not work out for him. Van Gaal's tactics were just not going well for him. But ever since he's ever since he joined PSG, he's rediscovered his form, and he's definitely still in his prime years. So he can only get better. So I think PSG have got a steal on their hands. Now moving on to Nicolas Pepe. Just say bad investment. Big things were expected of this player, but he's definitely not worth the 17.4 million that Arsenal paid for him. And ever since he scored great free kicks in that game, but just overall it's not gone as expected for him, and not worth all that money. Maguire, I'd say he could be better, but he's definitely been a great signing for Man United at the back, but just not worth that £80 million record fee that they paid for him. He has been good with some defensive performance, but has made some mistakes, but he can only get better over time. So Harry Maguire, even though he's in the could be better category, he definitely can get better. Kepa, bad investment. Ridiculous fee they paid for him when he came from Athletic Bilbao. Crazy 74 million bid for him. He's shown flashes of good quality, but for that fee for someone that young, definitely not worth it. And he's been in a few bust ups over his Chelsea career and was froze out of the Chelsea squad after that shambolic performance against Everton, so definitely bad investment. Kevin De Bruyne, obviously worth every penny. But since he joined Manchester City, he's been a rock in that midfield with David Silva, and he can only get better at age 27. In his prime, Kevin De Bruyne, worth every penny. Theo Hernandez, haven't seen much for him, but I feel he's a great signing. Definitely a good left back in that park, and he can only get better over time considering how young he is. Luis Suarez, worth every penny. The man just bangs in goals any time that he's in a Barcelona shirt. One of the greatest strikers that Barcelona has ever had. So Luis Suarez, definitely worth every penny. Neymar, he's been a great signing for PSG, but he definitely was not worth that ridiculous £200 million that they paid for him. So that's why I've put him in the great signing category. But he has been involved in some scandals that have happened over the news, but when he's good on his day, he's definitely a quality player. Riyad Mahrez, definitely a great signing for Manchester City. He's still got time to develop. become a good player at Man City. He just needs more time, but I'd say Pep Guardiola's made a good investment. Kylian Mbappe, worth every penny. Lethal striker, only 20 years old and can only get better and better over time, and no wonder all the big clubs want his signature. He's just a man in form and a man in demand. Paul Pogba, well, he has shown glimpses when he's been at Manchester United, but it's just not cut it for him when he's been in a Manchester United shirt, and he's not been very lucky with injuries, so I'd put him in the disappointing category. João Cancelo, same here. Ever since he's joined Man City, he's had a good run in the team, but just not had enough game time ever since he arrived from Juventus, and Manchester City could have made a better right back replacement for Danilo. Romelu Lukaku, he was a good signing. Scored double figures at Manchester United, but just did not get enough game time. Wasn't in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's plans, so was sold the next summer after that. Benjamin Mendy, same here, been quite disappointing since his move from Marseille, and he's just been injured most of the time, and whenever he has been on the pitch he has been prone to making a few mistakes, so I'd say this was kind of a bit of a panic buy by Manchester City. Gonzalo Higuain to Juventus. He's still got that goal scoring form from his Napoli days, but it just hasn't quite, all of it hasn't quite transferred over to him at Juventus, and that's why I've put him in the could be better category. Eden Hazard, same here, disappointing category. I know he has got the quality, but ever since he's joined Atletico Madrid it just has not worked out for him, and he's just been very, very unlucky with injuries, but when he's not injured, my gosh, he can be very, very good on his day, and if he works on his injury record, then he'll definitely be a good winger to have in that Real Madrid team. Another one of the De Ligt brothers. Haven't seen much of them, but I just feel great. It's been a great signing, and he can only get better, learning from the great defenders in that team, from PK and also Samuel and Titi, so he can only get better when he learns from the players. Ibrahimovic to Barcelona. I'd move into the disappointing category because he was great in that Inter Milan side, but when he arrived at Barcelona, he just couldn't seem to get part. There was a lot of competition in that team as well, from the likes of Ronaldinho and Thierry Henry and Samuel Eto'o, but he did fall out with Pep Guardiola as well. He didn't really have a good relationship with the manager, so that's why he didn't feel as confident on the field or wanted to play. So even though he was a disappointing signing, I feel that he definitely had the quality. João Cancelo, put him in the disappointing category. My bad, I meant Rodri. That was Rodri, he meant could be better. João Cancelo, as I said before, hasn't really worked out for him as a Manchester City player, and hasn't really had the look in that he wanted to. Naby Keita, same as well. A lot was expected of him when he came to Liverpool, but he just hasn't had the run in, and injuries have just really hurt him, and it's a shame really that he hasn't been able to be able to hit the numbers or get past that midfield with Wijnaldum. Raheem Sterling, put him in the great signing category. Bit obviously great assister, but when Pep Guardiola came in as manager, he's transformed him and made him one of the first players on Gareth Southgate's England team sheet. Oscar, he's been a good signing for the Chinese Super League, but it's just a bad investment. I don't know why he went to the Chinese Super League out of all the clubs he could go to. He would have, because he's at the peak of his career, and the last place a footballer would want to be going is the Chinese Super League. So I feel if Oscar stayed and played in Europe, he could have become much better. So I just think this was a bad investment from the Chinese Super League. Luka Jovic, he had a great season when he was at Eintracht Frankfurt, but when he came to Real Madrid, a lot was expected of him, and he just hasn't hit the ground running. So I'm going to put him in the disappointing category. Cristiano Ronaldo to Real Madrid, worth every penny. Ridiculous stats when he was at Real Madrid: 311 goals in 292 games, and won all the trophies that you could win at Real Madrid. He was definitely one of the greatest signings that club has ever made. James Rodriguez, he's been a great signing ever since he arrived from AS Monaco, but he has fallen out of favour with Zinedine Zidane in the pecking order at Barcelona, so a move would suit him. Romelu Lukaku as well, great signing, definitely redeemed his form definitely got better and better, and Inter Milan have picked up a steal of a signing, and he can only at 25, he's nearly at the peak of his powers, so my gosh, he can become a great striker. Thomas Lemar hasn't worked out for him in an Atletico Madrid shirt, not got the game time, and no wonder some clubs are linked with the summer transfer move for him. It just hasn't worked out for the young French left mid. Virgil van Dijk, worth every penny. My gosh, that 75 million that Liverpool paid for him may seem like an expensive figure, but he has been a rock in that back, and is just the centre back that Liverpool need, and it's won them Champions League, so definitely he deserves to be in that worth every penny category. Same with Aubameyang, just a free scoring forward for Arsenal everywhere you go, and he's still got that goal scoring power that he had at Dortmund. And now for the last player, I'm going to put him in the great signing category. And yeah, Thank you guys for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you for watching.